knocking out all bums. Don't bring that weak shit in here.
4, 3, 2, kick it.
Yo, Chico, expose these clowns.
Attention! Boom, watch out! It's time for the Freddy Chico show to begin. Open up your ears and listen close. I'm here for the justice of my people living by the code. Building in strong, watch these clowns all get exposed. My energy never fade. I'm gonna give them the best of my wordplay. Freddy Chico show. I'm here for the justice of my people living by the code. Building in strong, watch these clowns all get exposed. My energy never fade. I'm gonna give them the best of my wordplay. Freddy Chico show. I speak for the truth of my people, I will never quit. No fear in my heart, they keep talking while I'm living this. Kneel for the spirit of the fallen, calling Japanese. Them soldiers always raising up our Fifth Street analysts. They lost in the zone of a fatal state. True facts in the story only carry weight. Keep the grind on your mind each and every day. But don't copy off of mine, eat what's on your plate. Respect the Huey P. and Bobby Seale. Malcolm X and the King, cause the dream is real. What I said, and I mean it all. If you're looking for the real Freddy Chico show, I'm here for the justice of my people living by the code. Building in strong, watch these clowns all get exposed. My energy never fade. I'ma give them the best of my wordplay. Freddy Chico show. I'm here for the justice of my people living by the code. Building in strong, watch these clowns all get exposed. My energy never fade. I'ma give them the best of my wordplay. Freddy Chico show.
Welcome to the Freddy Chico Show, where the truth is revealed and never concealed. What's going on? Appreciate you, Am Shay on Instagram. We're going to do the Rep Your City time. Start the timer. 3 minutes. Let me know where you're checking in from. Even if I know, let everybody else know. And new people, let them know how it goes, how it operates, how we do things here. Tell me where you're checking in from. We got a hot one for y'all tonight. You know, I got somebody already trolling me on Instagram and got me reported. Not sure what it didn't tell me what it was for, what was it about, but they said I was bullying somebody. I don't even know who I was bullying. I didn't know I had conflict like that, unless it's old boy, and I don't want to assume that it was him from Monday. Maybe he didn't like what I said. Alright, I see you. Man, I don't know. I think so. I think he might be still mad. That's crazy. Cause and I shouldn't be shocked because I've been dealing with it for 10 plus years. You know, scary Christian men who cannot stand up for themselves, so they'll attack somebody who is standing up for himself, and they can't get it. They've been brainwashed, or they just um, it offends them that you have self-respect. You know, I had literally people coming up to me and my wife saying, "Y'all are too loving. Y'all are too. Why y'all so close to each other? You know, you need to separate, and one needs to go one way, and the other needs to go the other way, because it makes them uncomfortable." Yeah, well, in his business, he's a relationship coach and something else, and an author. So to me, and I didn't see that at first, so I'm gonna take the hit on that one. Um, the way he started vibing was kind of like a Derek Jackson, women can do no wrong, men can do no good, But he said, but why though? In this business, you gotta be used to a difference of opinion. It's like you said, you guys can believe differently, but don't be lying when you get found out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Um, they get exposed, and then he want to ask me questions about, am I a Christian? All right, really? What that got to do with you lying? Because I've yet to see anybody show me, and I really don't want to have to go do the research to go look at the parts in the movie that show that I was right about the woman being a bum, but people still think it's okay for a woman to be a bum in a relationship. She ain't got to do nothing. She ain't got to contribute. Like she's Dr. Dre's wife, and still collect $3 million a year, 300,000 a month, 300,000 a month for doing nothing. As long as she doesn't remarry, she gets 300,000 a month. Derek Thomas, what's going on, sir? Did you submit a topic? It's something like you did something this morning that I was like, I can't remember what it was. That I addressed. Um, but oh, the time is up. Let's get into this topic. I hope you guys are ready. Buckle up, because I may not be on long. I already got somebody reporting me because their feelings is hurt. Um, but tonight's topic: Oreos are unhealthy. Oreos are unhealthy. County women in the building. What's going on, Rebecca? Um, yeah, she don't deserve that. Exactly, and she stole from him. So, yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna profess that I know all the details of that movie because I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry. But she was a bum. But everyone's like okay with her being a bum, and that she owes and she deserves something extra for being a bum. But I want to talk tonight about the Oreos that who, and I don't know if y'all seen me on one of my posts. I was going back and forth with one that I have to learn how to fall back when you're not gonna really reach someone. They're not gonna see what you're saying, and so you're just wasting your breath on that particular person. But when people, what is an Oreo? Let me give you some examples of what an Oreo is. Um, yeah, that crappy movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She was not. She was a lazy bum. Um, the um, the statements that people say, Democrat, Republican, bird, what do you call it? Wings of the same bird. You know, that is an Oreo because they don't want to stand and fight on a Democratic side, they'd rather have you say, don't do anything. Just let either or pick. And really just let the Republicans pick for you. Because we're not brave enough or strong enough to stand up against them. That's an Oreo. When they talk about, oh, I want to vote independent, that's an ignorant Oreo. Because people who do independent, I can understand that. What in the world? What's doing that? That you don't agree with a lot of things on the Republican side, you don't agree with a lot of things on the Democrat side, so you want to do something different. But when you look at the independents, they're not saying that much different. And you're basically saying, I don't really, that's your vote don't count for that. Because what they get, like 0.5%, I'll give them, be generous and say they get 1% of the vote. What you going to do with that? You know, I'm sure there's an independent candidate that's won some type of election somewhere, but I couldn't tell you the name. You know, it's either Democrat or Republican. Pick one. You know, like Ray Grady say, pick one, choose one. You know, it's like I was talking to brother earlier. I'm like, it's like watching the NBA Finals, and you want to win the championship. You want to win the NBA Finals championship, but you don't want to play for the Suns or the Bucks. Then you don't want a championship. You know, until they come up with a game where they got 4 and 5 teams playing at once, you got to pick one or shut up. And I'm cool with people saying shut up. I don't want to do anything. Just stop dogging people that are trying to do something. We can talk about those too, Rebecca. Tell us, are you talking about the black Oreos or the new version of vanilla Oreos? We could talk about them too. You got any examples of that? So a lot of people get to the top and forget they're of color. That too. That's another Oreo. Where, and I'm not gonna give them 100% pass. I'll give them a 50% pass because not gonna lie, you get to a certain point of comfort, you almost forget what it's like to struggle. You know. Because I tell you right now, not the richest person in the world, but I haven't eaten a hot dog in a long time. Remember, I used to be on a regular, you know, every Wednesday or Thursday, it was hot dog day. I ain't eaten hot dog in so long. So some of the stuff you do forget, you know, potted meat, Spam, ramen noodles, you know. So not to misconstrue anything because I love other races, but we do entirely too much when money is involved. We shuck and jive, you know, the dog and pony stuff, you know. He said, miserable people are always complaining about things but don't want to be a part of the process. That's it right there. That's another Oreo. They don't want to do the work that's required to get to the finish line, but they'll complain about it as if they really want some change. And if you try to do something, they'll complain about you trying to do something different. That ain't gonna work. I don't even know why you doing it. You trying to be like the man. You trying to be like the white people. What are you doing? Going to your 9 to 5, barely paying the rent? Because that's better. I mean, we love to say we got Gucci. We love to say we got Birkin, Fendi, all these Italian designers and whatnot. Let a black designer come out. Y'all gonna dog him out, say he's too expensive, want to get a hookup, you know. You should find out something you are doing, get jealous and sell you out. Absolutely. You know, Like I told old boy, you can see it on my on my page or a comment. It's like keep that same energy. You wish for my downfall, claiming you know better and I'm a simpleton and all this other good stuff. Keep that same energy 10 years from now. Don't change up. Don't flip. Oh, my bad. Do you forgive me or apologize? I forgive you, but stay your behind over there. Keep that same energy. He said, "Oh, spam. It's been a long time." Yeah, go to Hawaii. They love spam out there. It's a popular food item. So some people are afraid to step out of their comfort zone until something makes them. And I think that's a lot of people, And I'm not knocking that because there's times where I've been that person. I don't want to say afraid, but cautious. Which I guess is like a nice way to say afraid. But until your hand is forced because you have to do this because something else has fallen through. He said many don't understand the energy it takes to do nothing is the same energy to make something happen. Yep. And ultimately, and I know they're gonna call it petty, what have you. Y'all don't know what's going on behind the scenes and all the stuff that it takes to get all this up. It's like when, and I say when, not if, when the subscribers are in the hundreds of thousands, in the millions. I don't want to hear, hey, remember, we was cool and blah, blah, blah. I know the people that are around. I know the Rebeccas, the Amshays, the Derricks, the Walters. I know D Smalls would love to be here, but, job, work calls, I know the faithful. The other ones, yeah, what was her name? I can't even remember her name. That's how unimportant she is. He said, the ones born in the country and forget they used to eat collard greens and neck bones. I don't know about neck bones, but and I actually didn't grow up with the collard greens, but they're okay. I'm not a big fan of collard greens because most people make them very spicy. I'm not about that, and I'm not about some of the stuff that they call southern food or country food, like chitlins and pig feet and what's that stuff that looks like crap? Not Brunswick stew, but Brunswick stew has some crap in it too. It's not like regular beef stew. But there's this I forget the name of it. It's a weird looking meat. Collard greens are gassy. Yes, they are. That's my cousin, boy. It's like we gotta keep her away from the collard greens. You must be from the South, Am, talking about collard greens and neck bones. Ugh. I will never know, Rebecca. I'll take your word for it. Talking about pig feet are so good. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that one. You say you got a question? It depends. I would say yes. She asked me, is Michael Jordan an Oreo? I would say yes. To a certain extent because he cared more about his brand than social justice. So they got him good. As long as he's selling the shoe, he didn't say nothing. To the point where he didn't say nothing and they were dogging out Craig Hodges and he's on his team. Remember that brotherhood, teammates and all that? You let your boy get dogged out and you don't say nothing and you got all this star power. Granted, I'm not sure how they would have responded to him like how they responded to LeBron James, but That qualifies you as being an Oreo. Wait a minute, you just said pig's feet are so good, but talking about you don't eat them. But you'll tell. I mean, you're not getting better. Pig ears, South Georgia, over there by like Albany or somewhere. Oh, you're saying something about Jordan, South Georgia. He avoided giving away free shoes for kids. Yeah, and I used to be a fan of him when he was in college, but you know, when I saw that the documentary about the championships or whatever, I stopped being a fan of Michael Jordan. I'm actually more of an Isaiah Thomas fan now, and I used to hate Isaiah Thomas because of the image that they portrayed of him, and the whole bad boy image of Detroit Pistons. He was somebody you hated. I want to say your nicknames, but I'll say Chaser. What's going on? What's going on? Chaser's in the building. He said it's hard for celebrities to join the fight of equality. They have too much to lose. Yeah, it's kind of hard, but um, it's kind of hard, but then it's really not. Um, because at the end of the day, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror, and is the money worth all that? At the same time, they want to say, well, I have a lot to lose, and I don't want to, lose these opportunities for all this money. Okay, well, once you get the money, what do you do with it? Be a good little boy and play with a comic book in the corner, or do you use that money to build somebody else up and fight that so they don't have to deal with what you had to deal with? He said, you love pig's feet, hog mog. I think that's pretty nasty. Turkey neck, chicken souse. Yeah, souse. That's what it was. Souse. That nasty looking stuff. Souse? Mm-mm. No. Chitterlings. No. Nope, 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 nope. I refuse to honor and promote what they force on us as slaves. I mean, I did like the Bugs Bunny Jordans, but I've never owned a pair of Jordans. You said you never cared for Jordan sneakers. The bad boys, Detroit Pistons. Yep. Hold on. Some people forget or try to forget where they came from. They move to a big house and forget they came from the hood. I mean, I agree in certain points, and some points I don't. I don't think you should continue to behave like a certain way because you got to represent the hood. But you got a point there, Chaser. Bill Cosby got ripped the new one, and he had a lot of money. I mean, I still think he still has a lot of money. I'm not sure what scrapple is, but I don't eat it. Um, when they fall back to earth, they return to the hood. Yeah. He said, well, some people believe that they have to be industry driven to make it. Well, we regular people come to ghetto and want things for free. Look at Tiger Woods. Um, Baby the slaves, they treated Meek Mill his own. Wasn't a fan of Meek Mill, so I'm not sure what kind of changes he made. Um, but it wouldn't shock me if his own people, didn't like that he was turning over a good new leaf because he, got educated. All right, Sean, what's going on? Um, right along rants in the building. It all boils down to what's going on, Walter. It all boils down to entities dividing black folks is a part of the how to control the Negro thing. Yep, I agree. That's the part that I really want to discuss or address is that these Oreos are put in place to patronize and control blacks. Bottom line. You got people that will say, don't vote, don't vote. Your black vote doesn't matter. They don't care about you. Neither side really cares about you. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? What is your plan? Well, if we don't vote, then maybe 20 years from now, they may say, hey, why didn't you vote for us? Let's find out. Yeah, the hood, see Nipsey, the hood took him out. I think they took him out using the hood. You know what I'm talking about, Chaser. Uh-oh, we got a controversial question over here. Hold on. Said, I mean, in a way, when you enter the industry, all the people respond to is the way you came in. So if you sing about gang banging, they want only that. Hey, that's what made them the money. That's what made them the money. Because like you said, if he would have came in doing what he's doing now, he probably wouldn't have sold one record. I'm still on the fence about the shots, because on one side I'm really sick of all you non-medical people talking about the vaccine, like y'all have any source or reputable source to be speaking on it. You really need to shut your mouth. You just say you don't want to take the vaccine, because on the other side of it, I don't like how people are trying to force it down your throat either, because they're going to say, hey, we're trying to save lives. If they don't want their life saved, let them die. I know that might be controversial, but don't force somebody to take something. That's like people, you have to force them to wear their seatbelt so they don't go through the windshield. Like, let them go through the dang windshield. They don't want to put a seatbelt on because it's going to wrinkle their clothes. Let them go through the windshield. We have to have to write a ticket to get people to not drive without a seatbelt. What's going on? Crystalias, 2021 Creations. D Smalls is in the building. What's going on? Must have spoke you up. You must have hurt your ears. Your ears are itching. Don't be getting in trouble at work now. You said you disagree. See, Ice-T, he grew beyond those limits. What do you mean beyond what limits? With his white wife. It's all about economic destabilization. If they can keep us from becoming independent entity, they know they can control us. That's it right there. Absolutely. If we have some type of economic base, like Mind Games Uncut will say, we would, you'd be able to talk. And that's why I say about the relationship stuff. If these women would stop trying to be lazy and get their own, it will reduce the amount of cornball dudes that talk to you sideways. But as long as you have to depend on somebody else, they ain't got to respect you. I mean, they can. They have the ability to, but they don't have to. So I can only speak for the black perspective, but you have some in the community misinforming people. Some places are giving out free marijuana joints. Wow. Really? That is not shocking. But shocking at the same time. What about Alfonso Carlton from Fresh Prince feeling like he will never belong in the black household because of his relationship choice? Is his real life wife white? When you choose to help black people, your first obstacle will be the black people themselves. I agree. And I wanted to speak tonight also for all the people who claim, because I'm going to get on some people who claim they read the book, who claim that Uncle Tom is actually a good person. They're full of crap. And we need to focus on Sambo. So whenever you see a guy, you need to call him Sambo and not Uncle Tom. No. You call him Uncle Tom and you call him Sambo. Both Uncle Tom and Sambo were slaves. Just one was a little bit worse. And that as a slave, he still kissed butt just like Sambo did. It's just Sambo was very cutthroat with his. So who can't help you? Love, personally, I don't think. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this here real quick. You said you can't help who you love. You can't. Who can't help who you love? Personally, I don't think a valor thing, but a people thing. Uh, you're saying you don't think people can help who they love? You call them fiddlers. Yep, yep. Yeah, I got a couple. I was like I said, I was on a post. He loves to dog out my post when I am talking about empowering black people. Um, and he's like, you know, what kind of organization you got? And I'm gonna donate. No, you're not. You're not gonna donate. Read the book because people expect you to take what they've said because it was a good sound bite and say, oh, people have it wrong. Uncle Tom was actually a good person. No, he was not. No, he was not. He was still a slave, and he still did the slave master's bidding. So he wasn't no like renegade and rebel, that did everything. Appreciate you, Mo. Appreciate you in the building. Do me a favor, hit that like and share before you leave. Please read the book. You can get it on Amazon for like $10 to $15, something like that. He said I never read it. I dated a white man, very nice and loving, just like the black man. Bad people are bad people and come in all colors. Absolutely. And I don't have no critiques for you dating a white man, other than did he do right by you and did you do right by him? Spell check, I think, is a color thing, but you think it's a color thing, but a people. You don't think it's a color thing. You think it's a people thing. As far as what is concerned, what do you think is just a color thing and not a people thing, or it's not a color thing, it's a people thing? Appreciate that, Mo. And y'all check out the website. I don't have my shirts. I got them coming in. I got some new shirts on the website. FreddyChicoShow.com/shop. Get you a t-shirt. Get you a hat. Hoodie, jacket, socks. Somebody asked for underwear. I'm still working on that. I don't know what kind of design I'm gonna put on it, but we're gonna have underwear soon. I don't want to see it. I don't want no pictures of that. Take a picture of the hat. Take a picture of the shirt, something like that. But don't give me no screenshots of you in the underwear. But yeah, a lot of people got that Uncle Tom and Sambo thing confused because, like they said back in the '80s, it was like, how do you keep a secret from a black man? Put it in a book, because they're not going to read. So they're going to take somebody else's word because they're not going to do the research themselves. He said, as a Latina, okay, what country? We have good and bad people as well, and our people hate on each other as well as discriminate. Absolutely. As you know, as you see, my name is Freddie Chico, so I have Latino blood as well. My mother's from Honduras, so you know. Shout out to you, Latina. But appreciate you in the building. Do me a favor if you like what you see, like what you hear. Go to the FreddyChicoShow.com. Register as a member. You can submit topics that you want to talk about. We talk about everything from religion to relationship to politics, hot trending topics. No topics off limits. We talk about everything. You want to talk about, just keep it clean. If you say a lot of flim flam flam, I may clean it up, and still put the topic on because I don't shy away from anything. Okay, Brooklyn, me too. But Puerto Rican and Colombian. Okay, gotcha. What part of Brooklyn you from? Puerto Rico. Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing. Appreciate you. D Smalls came in, said hello, and he was out. Yeah, Brooklyn's in the house. Yeah, we got Brooklyn in the house on Facebook as well. Um, Stop playing Flatbush. Okay, my neck of the woods. Absolutely. A lot of West Indians on Flatbush. You know, my father from Montserrat, so Brooklyn fresh. Bruce is in the building. What's going on? Um, you missed it. I just was talking about the Uncle Tom and what it actually is versus what people claim they read. Uncle Tom is not a good character. Uncle Tom is just what people applied it to. It's just that some people look at Sambo as worse because he did even more cutthroat stuff. But Uncle Tom is not a good character. Um, Absolutely. Hit me up. Noonish. You know, you got the number. It is often, but not always, a color thing. Some need to do research. The FBI, CIA, many other entities has decades of information on how to influence and what to do with people of color. It literally says things like black people, the Negro, depending on what era of the report you read. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. And we have silly Negroes that'll follow right behind it. Oh, get off at 5. Yeah, I probably will be occupied till about um, either 6 or 7. So hit me up after that. Um, but you'll get people that they're happy with crumbs and they will sell their own mothers out. No, that is incorrect. Joe Rivers, you said Uncle Tom was a great man. No, he was not. He was not a great man, and Sambo is just worse. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Tom was a slave. He did his master's bidding. That's the reference to Uncle Tom. That's the Tim Scotts, the the Tyler Perrys, you know, the Steve Harveys. They do the master's bidding. I got the book. I got the book. You know what I'm saying? You know, I read the story. So, Candace Owens, Uncle Tom, or Aunt Jane, whatever they want to call her, for the female version. You know what I mean? Because it's a fictional book written by somebody in the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? So, one thing, like you say yourself, Joe, is like people take what somebody else said and run with that, and have no idea they're not even telling you the truth. You know, so the problem with today's society is that Uncle Toms of today have a platform. Candace Owens, those, the light skinned dudes, those twins, the other twins, the black females, yeah. So what about the issue of segregation? Some people are advocating to reinstate it, and that's dumb too. You know, I like certain parts of the ideas because they want to, reference Tulsa, and other Black Wall Street and other places where blacks were thriving. They were saying that there are places right under where Lake Lanier is right now that there was a black community that was thriving, and they, basically wiped the people out, massacred them, that kind of thing. That that's not the answer either. Now, some semblance, some smaller, you know, idea of at least having like communities that are quote unquote segregated, kind of like you have Hispanic areas and Asian areas, Chinatowns, something like that. I can see that as a base, but I don't believe in, well, don't go to this town because it's a black town. Don't go to this town because it's a white town. Yeah, I don't. That one ain't it. Hold on. Well, but that's not what I'm talking about. If people want to say, hey, Josiah Henson was a good guy, he probably is a good guy. But as far as the book is concerned, the actual book and the story, that dude was not a good dude. He was a slave and he kissed the white man's behind. But he'll get a lot of blacks saying that really pisses me off. You get a lot of blacks saying that's how we should be. And no, that don't work for me. No, not at all. And other people talking about why don't we build our own table? You know, stop asking for crumbs at their table. Build our own table. We built that table. They didn't build that table. But want us to build another table. With them constantly destroying the table. You know what I'm saying? So how is it based on that? If he's not an Uncle Tom, how is he based the Uncle Tom story off of him and he wasn't an Uncle Tom? He wasn't Uncle Tom. Like, that makes no sense. But it's a part of the plan for confusion. Because then at some point people are going to be like, yeah, you're supposed to kiss their behinds. You know? That's a part of life. As a black person, you're supposed to kiss white men's behinds. I'm not for that. I will never be for that. I'm not preaching hate, but I'm also not preaching hate to myself. I love myself too much to ever be an Uncle Tom or a Sambo. But it's what people have been brainwashed to believe in because they never read the book. I got the book. I wanted to make sure I saw it for myself. And Uncle Tom was a good little Negro that was trusted by, just because the slave master liked him better than any other slave, does not make him good. You know, he said, we need to learn unity. Madam C.J. Walker did it on her own. So she's an example of not selling out. It starts with our kids, teaching them to love, not color. I agree with you. Appreciate it. You know, and I don't know, because C.J., you know, Walker created the perm. They said our hair being like this is not attractive. You got to straighten it out. So I don't know if that's, you know, helping the enemy. Don't care. Both of them are terrible. Both of them are terrible. And we got to stop telling people that we should strive to be an Uncle Tom. No. I'm not a slave. To no one. And I know they come like, well, you're a slave to this and you're a slave to that. You know, they try to, you know, justify why I should even put it into consideration of being an Uncle Tom. That is not a difference of opinion, but paid hate. She was paid by a turning point for a long time, then by others. Tell me what you think Candace says in context is the actual difference of opinion. What are we talking about? Okay, no. What's Candace on? What's wrong with her having a different opinion? Just it's not having a different opinion. Yeah, I agree with Walter. It's not about having a different opinion. It's about she's like a what's the dude name? Charlemagne the God. He's another Uncle Tom. That they're saying things for one, for the shock value, and two, that you can't even take seriously, but their damage is white people are taking them seriously and using them to speak for blacks in general. So it's not, oh, I just have a different opinion. No. I mean, she's literally said black lives don't matter, and Anybody who says Black Lives Matter is a criminal and is lazy and doesn't want to work and wants handouts and there's no such thing as racism and racism has been over for years. Black people are just making it up in their head. Even though she was she was in a racist incident where she had to sue somebody, a school for doing something to her. She has the nerve to say that racism doesn't exist. Did I see her in the 2019 revolt? Like I said, I've read the book, Joe, and there's nowhere in there where people are like, "Oh, he's a good person." No, he was a slave. He was a slave, and he did what the slaves were told to do. I don't have, and ultimately, not saying that there are things that he may have helped another slave out and did this blah blah. The whole thing is Uncle Tom did what the slave masters told him to do. That's what I'm saying. Tim Scott is getting told what to do. Charlamagne the God and all these other Uncle Toms are doing what they're told to do by their slave masters. Stephen A. Smith is doing what his slave masters tell him. I mean, he said it on YouTube or on his ESPN show or whatever. He's like, he wakes up every morning thinking of ways to make his boss money. That's an Uncle Tom. Not a good thing. Don't care if he helped start the British American Institute. That's not what the reference to him being an Uncle Tom. You know, a lot of buildings were funded by blood money. Doesn't make the building great. Because it's like, oh, we're dedicating this to this cause and that cause. Where'd you get the money from? Oh, we killed millions of slaves. Oh, but it's a great building. I think we enslave ourselves today in many ways. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that we allow. I mean, take the Native Americans. How they destroyed them is not even funny. I mean, there's certain Native American tribes that don't exist. They wiped them off the planet. But others, they drug them up. They get them addicted to alcohol. And so they basically neutralize them. Extremely sad. Yeah, she does, and that's being nice saying she got 20% truth. Did I miss something? What's going on, David? I see you in the building. What are you saying on the theater or you're not a fan of Candace Owens and never will be? Oh, David was saying that to listening. Got you. Okay, it's what our community does, drugs and kill each other. Right, and that's why I say it's a 50-50 thing. You know, 50 is like how they would say, I don't care how smart they are as far as drug dealers. People are not getting those drugs in there without the U.S. okay. We're allowing those drugs to come in. But they were funneling them to the black neighborhoods. 50% is on them. 50% is on the neighborhood, allowing it to be there. Which is a charge and challenge to every gangbanger, blood, crip, and everything in between. There's like different, I think it's 3 or 4 different factions, is that the gangs were created to protect the community. But they got them, when the drugs came in there, they got them to fight each other. They can sit back and watch them kill each other. We have been conditioned to think that Uncle Tom was a sellout. He was. I don't agree with none of that, and I'm on my history. You need to look more into the slogan. Uncle Tom was not the person that made him to be. He was getting slaves and helped. But I agree today, an Uncle Tom is a sellout. If anything is by the book, he is a sellout. Now, I'm not saying the fact that he didn't revolt, he's a sellout, but he was a slave. He did his master's bidding. That is a sellout. Because I have a shirt, and this is, to address this situation, Joe. Killmonger said this in the movie Black Panther. He's like, bury me at sea with my ancestors who jumped from the boat because they knew death was better than slavery. Uncle Tom didn't jump from the boat. He became a slave. So, don't be Uncle Tom, my brother. It said, trying to make Lil Nas X the face of hip-hop is the old dynamic made new. All right, David. Yeah, cause yeah, and you talk about it. These young kids don't even know about that. Is that back in the day, you couldn't pay white people to put rappers on TV. When Run DMC did a remake of Aerosmith song, Aerosmith was trying to sue them. He didn't want him messing with their song. But at some point, they were able to get Run DMC and Aerosmith on MTV. They weren't really feeling anything black. They had rappers way before Run DMC, African Bombada, people before then, Sugar Hill Gang, but they weren't trying to put them on TV, But when they started seeing like NWA and like, oh, wait a minute, we can cast them in this bad light. Oh, yeah. The floodgates open. Now everybody's a gangster. Why do you think over the last 30 years it's been getting progressively worse with this gangster, gang banging, drug dealing, drug addict type stuff? It's not by accident. We used to have like conscious rappers like Common and KRS One and a lot of different Black Thought. They're not gonna be popular. Who's popular? This little fruity Lil Nas X. That's who's popular. Every little the baby, Lil Baby, Somebody Baby. Those are the ones that are popular. I say we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. I think people have been misled. I've read the book, and that's not what I got. He didn't rescue one slave. He didn't free one slave. The best he did was he stood up for slaves that the Sambo character was trying to get killed. That's the best he did. But he was not a Harriet Tubman in the least. So I think you need to research that and make that a topic. I promise you can show he was... okay. Now, I say this before, because I'll have to go back through it again. But when I do, I'm going to pinpoint everything. So be careful what you wish for. It's like, okay, when I expose that this is actually what happened and all this other stuff, is like people will count on you not reading it so they can make up whatever they want so they can get their attention for whatever 10 seconds they got. He said, I disagree with tearing down historical sources that are pre-existing, and we need to self-educate. The fact that you depend solely on the government for education is the first issue. True. At least the slaves then invested in their generation. These people are fighting now without a cause. You can't be pro-black being anti-white. Can't be pro-black being anti-white. Some of these whites help pave the way. Yep, and if you go to Washington, D.C., they got a museum there that shows a lot of white people died fighting for slaves to not be slaves. They called them abolitionists. And they were before the country started. You know, so yes, I agree with that as well. So, you know, of course, you know, the racists will say I'm just anti-white. Not anti-white. I'm anti-racist. So I think he said I think you need to research and make a topic, and I can show you. Oh yeah, I think I read that one. I'm laughing at all the preachers of so-called black leaders who you called out on the Uncle Tom junk. Yeah, there's a lot of them there. A lot of them there. Appreciate it. Send me the information you got. I will definitely dissect it. Did your sound go out or is it my Bluetooth tripping? Hold on, let me check. Testing. 1 2. 1 2 test. Sounds pretty good to me. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, it was your Bluetooth? Gotcha. But I appreciate y'all. I mean, you know, definitely challenge. Challenge me, Joe. I'm up for the challenge. Let's get it. You know, if I am wrong, you know, because like I said, I read the book, and from what I remember, there was nothing good about him, and there was nothing that was Harry Tubman about him. I think that's what people try to, you know, dress it up to, you know, change the narrative that so many people have said when we're coming up. But if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. So I'm gonna do some more research on that, and I'm gonna dissect it, because I'm gonna show you page for page where it's like, this dude is not cool. He's a freaking slave. You know, doing his master's bidding. Like, nah. Listen to me with that. But like I said, you know, there's people that will dog out black people for voting Democrat, but what are they doing? How are they helping their community out, other than running their mouth about what somebody else shouldn't do, and not admitting they got paid by Republicans to say that dumb crap? There's a lot of them that are Republicans plants just to stir up dysfunction and discourse. Get it. It's on Amazon. That's where I got it from. You have to consider why preachers and entertainers are always the leaders of the black community. Good question. Somebody's in their pocket. Somebody's in their pocket. Yeah, it's Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yep, I forget what the author's name. Beecher or something. Uncle Tom's Cabin. It was written like in the 1800s. But we got to research that too. Why all these preachers and entertainers, the leaders of the black community? Why don't we have doctors and lawyers? You know. And just FYI, do your research on it. Harry Belafonte said that before Martin Luther King died, Harriet Beecher Stowe, yep, that Martin Luther King said he regret what he created because he felt in his last days that he set black people up for failure because white people are never going to just stop beating blacks if we go, I'm nonviolent. So he may have been an O.R.E.O. to a certain extent until he got tired of it and was like, nah. And so they're like, nope, we got to get rid of him. Because they got rid of X first, then they got rid of King. But then all these people are like, what would King say if he would have seen you here? Like they really care about King. With them clowns talking about Martin Luther King Jr. Because that just comes out the same as King, as Coon. That was after King talked and sat down with Malcolm. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. It's like, wow. And again, Malcolm, killed by his own. But they planted those people and fully funded those people to kill their own because he was too strong. Even without the Nation of Islam, he was still too strong. They didn't like his his influence. Don't know nothing about him. All the stories, he's like, you gotta take people at the word. Don't really know. Other than I don't believe he wasn't racist. I don't believe he wanted to fight, or wanted to fight for slaves. I think he just didn't want the South to secede. But that's just me scratching the surface, not no thorough investigation on who Abraham Lincoln was. But the more they try to make him Honest Abe and never did anything wrong, I get kind of skeptical if he was really anything. Again, that's somebody's take on it, But I'm gonna get at it. And like I said, I'm gonna break it down to you. I hope you got the book and you're not just taking somebody else's word for it, because that's not gonna help you. I need you to read the book yourself. Even if they got, I don't know if they got it in audio, get it in audio. I think he was killed in part because of that, but in part because Elijah Muhammad didn't like how he exposed him. That's what I think happened with him. Because even after all that, Malcolm was still trying to rejoin the nation. Which that didn't make sense to me. But I can't walk in that man's shoes. It was deeper race than that one. I haven't researched this subject in decades. I need to peep it myself. A huge problem that black people have today is citing some biased YouTube video as fact. There you go. Like if I could put a YouTube video up, I got one going out right now, and people say, "Hey, Freddie Chico said this." Okay, where did Freddie Chico get? Right, but what I'm saying is this is based on this book. We say this, or I say, I don't say we, I say this based on the book and what the book says, not something what it was based off of or what somebody else really intended it to be or the underlying story, anything like that. The actual story in the book is what I base why I call fake kissing white people butt black people Uncle Toms. Nothing else. The Tobies. He said, do you think we are too far gone to reunite? Nothing is ever impossible. Nothing ever is impossible. We can. You just got to figure out how. And nobody's figured that out yet. We can. It is possible. All right, I'll check her out. But if she speaks out of turn, I will expose her. You just can't. I'm not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You understand? But I appreciate everybody. It's about that time. Enjoy family. Be safe out there this weekend. We still got nasty people out there coughing and spreading COVID, so be careful on that. Yeah, that's true. We don't have a voice that doesn't have a special interest. We need to work on that. That needs to happen. But remember what I say, you don't have to think like me, but you do have to think. You're never too old to learn, you're never too young to teach. Do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please, if y'all have not already, check out the YouTube page. Please hit like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help support the channel. And at some point, they might start paying me. They asked for my tax information the other day, so I'm like, I don't know. I might get a little check from YouTube. But I appreciate all your support. And again, if y'all have topics, I've seen some in the chat room. Don't hesitate to submit them after you've registered at the website, and we'll get those on the calendar and take it from there. You know. Hey, I have no problem saying I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. We shall see. And the touche to you too. I need you to be able. Don't disappear. When I show you you're wrong, don't disappear, Joe. I'll come up to Charlotte now. I'll pull up. Be like, where Joe at? I'm looking for Joe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he hasn't reached out to me. Well, he said, no, he hasn't reached out to me after he told me the phone died. So I don't know if he's going to ever come back. All right, we'll see. We'll see. Definitely will do that. Appreciate you, Am Shay. Love y'all. There's nothing y'all can do about it. See y'all on Monday. Chico out.